Hello, greetings from Hyderabad. Today's event focuses on Sitecore XM Cloud, ribbon buttons, and Edge Webhooks Manager. Hosted by Vishal and Yamini, presented by Gaurav Agarwal and Jagdish Maroju. Over to you, Jagdish and Gaurav. Thank you.
Okay, let me try to share my screen. My name is Gaurav. Uh, just 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we
Yes.
can see.
Yes, visible.
Yeah, thank you, Emily and Vishal, for giving us opportunity to present here in SUGHYD Hyderabad. So my name is Gaurav. I'm working as a developer and architect for Americaneagle.com, who is a Sitecore Platinum partner in Chicago with more Sitecore people in London, Bulgaria, UAE, and Jordan. So the first part I will going to present, and the second part will be presented by Jagdish. So I'm starting a presentation by agenda. So introduction, I'm already giving introduction. So Jagdish will give and once he'll be there with the second half. Then we will have how to create custom ribbon button in XM Cloud, then Edge Webhooks, and how we can control the webhook. Uh, so if I start the first one, so what is ribbon? So this is a very common thing. Like I think people already work in XMXP. This was a very common thing to add a ribbon button and all. So I'm just going to talk about that only. But it's changed very much in XM Cloud. So it's very simple now. It was very typical previously. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to show the site code as well. But this is the story I just wanted to tell you guys only. So what is a ribbon? So ribbon is the primary tool bar located at the top of the Sitecore coordinator interface. So I'll show you, I have a screenshot as well. So I'll screenshot, but for now, just I'm showing you this as well. So what is ribbon has? So ribbon has few things like tabs, chunks, and buttons. So the tabs is that combination of chunk and buttons like home, configure, view. These are the tabs. Then chunk comes. A chunk is a combination of buttons. So if you under home page, if you see some groups are like insert, operation, sorting. These are the chunk. Then button. So button is a self thing. So it describes the individual command element within the groups, which can be simple action, drop-down menus, or dialog launcher. So let's take a look on this screenshot. So this is a simple screenshot. So this whole in purple, this is a ribbon. This whole thing is a ribbon. Then these home, navigate, review, analyze, these all in the yellow. These are the tabs. And under tabs, we can see there are some sections. So this group. This we called the chunk, like insert, edit, operation. These are the chunk. And this chunk has the buttons. So this copy to, duplicate, move. These are the buttons. So this can be link, drop down, anything. And this whole tab has, so we see this home tab is open here. So this whole home tab, we can tell it to as a strip. So this is how Sitecore looks like when we see individual things here. And these all things are in Sitecore CM side. Now, I'm going to tell you how we can create the PowerShell buttons in XM Cloud. So I think XM Cloud is only started in 1 or 2 years. So previously we used to work in XMXP. So when someone was asking create a button and add something in ribbon, so it was a process actually. So we have to switch the core database. We need to create button there and configure a command in command.config. Then also in that command.config, we have to write some. We have to write some backend logic to where in the to whatever like we want. We need to do write in the Visual Studio, go there, create assembly file, and deploy the file. So it was a tedious work. We have to do lots of stuff just to add a simple button. But now, in XM Cloud, this story is very different. It's very simple now. We don't need to go to any core database anywhere. We just need to be on master database. So in XM Cloud, the game has changed. We don't need to do code debugging. We don't need to go to config file and create a command config. We don't need to do touch any assemblies. So everything just we can do. We just need to go to master database and just create our PowerShell script. That's it. We don't need to do anything else. These two simple steps are there only. So let me show you these things as well. I demonstrate you as well in the Sitecore, but these are some screenshot I tried to capture from my Sitecore instance. So first of all, like you see, we need to go to System, Modules, PowerShell, and Script Library. So these are the outer box things right now Sitecore provide us. So we just need to right click on this script library. So it will open a module wizard. Although this is the out of the box thing, like you can click on module wizard, but you can create it manually as well. I'll tell you those things as well. Why I'm telling you to create manually because it has a little bit drawback. So when you click on this module wizard, it will open the window like this one. So you see in the name of module, you can give any name that you want. Like I'll just give you demo report right now. Then integration point to create. So I want to create this button in ribbon. So just why I just chose this guy, content editor ribbon. If you want it into context menu, you can also click on this guy as well that I'll show you maybe later. Then when you click on this module export button, sorry, module wizard button. So what it will do, it will create all the ribbons things here. That's the only drawback I was talking to you. So if you don't want these all buttons like here, what you can do, you can direct right click on these and just create whatever ribbon you want, where you want the button. But if you are doing that one, so it will give you all the ribbons and you need to manually delete these if you don't need these. So in our case, I only use review, so I have to delete all these. So I deleted all these from my Sitecore instance. Then, uh, so if you want to add button in any existing chunk, then keep the chunk as well. But here we are creating the new chunk. So as we see, like our tab has many chunks already, so you can add your button in any existing chunk or you can create your own chunk. So for that, you don't need to do any code as well. You just name it only like this in your review ribbon. Just name whatever chunk you want. That's it. Then, and this is the main button that I'm talking about. So this is created by PowerShell script template. You just click on it and give your name here. No, this is the one where you can create your PowerShell script and do all the things. So once like your demo report item is created, you can go there and write your PowerShell logic like script body, whatever you want. Like you want to create some reports, you want to do the publishing, or you want to, in like if you're working on Next.js, you want to revalidate your page by clicking on the button, you can write every logic in this script body. So this is very, very useful now. And this item also has these two rules as well, show rule and enable rule. So as name things, these are very simple. So it will control if you want to show this button on any like item, or if data source item, you don't want to show this button. So you can control with this one. The second was enable rule. So where you want to enable it, you can enable by this. I'll show you these all the things again. And in the last one, sometime like a button appears, but sometimes does not. So what you need to do, you need to go to you open a new ISE session where you can use this URL and just click on this guy, sync library with content editor ribbon, and you will see your button. So like this one. So let me show you this inside code actually. Um, okay. Can you see Sitecore now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me show you from here. So this is the XM Cloud instance, Sitecore XM Cloud instance. So all you need to do, you just need to go to System, Modules, and PowerShell, and Script Library. So we have created some more as well, but for here, I just created this demo reports one. So here, I show you, right? So yeah, sorry. Here you can just right click on it and you can click on Module Wizard. And this will give you that window that I showed you, like this one. So here you can add the context menu, you can add a ribbon, whatever you want, and proceed with it. You need to give the name as well. So since I already did it, I don't want to do it again. So now, like if you see in the content editor, just ignore it now. For it now, I'll show you why it is there. So you see ribbon review. So I wanted to create it into the review tab. So here it is there. So what I did, I named it as a report. So this is a new chunk. This was not there anywhere. I can add it into the existing one in logs, workflow, anything. So for that, I need to use the same name here. But I created it here as a custom message. So what I did, so this is the main guy where you need to write all your logic. So for here, I just added us alert button only. So this is like SUG Hyderabad demo alert message. Now you see, like you can also control where you need to show it, where you need to enable it. Right now you see here as well, it's enabled. So if you want to, uh, let's suppose, hide it. If you want to have it only if the item is layout. So just go to here and to the rule and save it. So you see the button is gone. Also you can like control, but previously to do this, we have to do everything in the code. So that's how simple it is. So this is what it is. If you want to enable it, if item is layout only, that's also possible here. So let's suppose if I want to see it on the item, let me go to item, and you see here, I can see it now. And if I click it on again, so I can see this there. So whatever you want on this one, just go to this PowerShell item and do whatever you want. So don't need to go to digging into the core database or anything. No, nothing. This is how it's simple it is. Now it is in review, but I also want to have this button into the context menu. So this is, we call this context menu. So if you click on script, so you see there is a button custom message as well. So to have this review custom message button here, simply is again simple. So the name is context menu for that, and just go there and add this again. So I just copied it here only. So now this guy is working at the both the places. So if you want the same message or same logic, you can write same logic. If you want different logic, you can different logic. So this is how you can like have this button at both places, in the ribbons as well, in the context menu as well. So yeah, this was the simple thing I just wanted to show you. Now I think Jagdish will is going to show you the webhooks. So over to you, Jagdish.
Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. Hey everyone, this is Jagadheesh. So working as a senior Sitecore dev at americaneagle.com. So I'm gonna talk about Experience Edge webhooks. Let me share my screen and just let me know when you guys see my screen.
Yes, it is visible now.
Perfect. So yeah, Experience Edge webhooks. So I'm going to talk about what are the Experience Edge webhooks, how we can utilize them, and how we can control them directly in the content editor by using the PowerShell module. And that PowerShell module actually utilized what Gaurav has mentioned till now. So yeah, let me start with that Experience Edge webhooks. So what is Experience webhooks and why do we need them? Right? So previously, like with Sitecore XM XP, if we want to do any customizations or if we want to do any, like out of the box, I mean, whatever the functionality that is not out of the box and any customizations, what we used to do, we used to, write code and, patch it with process, pipelines, etc. Right? Like write the .NET custom code and, patch it in your app config and all that stuff. So with the XM Cloud, like that's nowhere, existing, nowhere in the existence, right? Right, because that's completely headless, and we don't have the, I mean, Sitecore don't want any customizations on the XM Cloud platform, right? So that's why, like now, if we want to do any customization, so what is the alternative, right? So the alternative here is, webhooks. So Sitecore XM Cloud came up with the capability where we can utilize webhooks to perform all the customizations or to perform any custom logic that we want. So that's where webhook came in place. Right. So like now we know why webhooks came in, right? So now we'll just talk about what is webhooks and how it works and all. So before we go deeper, so let's quickly understand what a webhook actually is. So a webhook is basically a way for one system to send a data to another system, right? It works by triggering an HTTP request, like when any event occurs. So think of it like this. Sitecore says hey, something just changed. So here is the data you need, and you send the data to another target system, and that target system, process the data from Sitecore and do whatever the functionality we want in the webhook. So that's how it works. It listens for a specific event and instantly triggers an action in a connected system, like whatever the target system we want to connect, right? And let me get a simple use case where we want to utilize webhooks on the Sitecore publish, right? Basically, Sitecore XM Cloud provides like various events, like when to trigger these webhooks. Like if you go to the XM Cloud Sitecore instance, you will see item added, item deleted, all those events where you can trigger the webhooks, right? But like let's say you did Sitecore publishing, and then what if you wanted to do something useful, right? The only way to do something useful after a publish is this via webhooks. So consider a webhook, right? Like, scenario, Sitecore, XM Cloud, mostly, we write the, application in the Next.js, and most of the applications uses ISR, incremental static regeneration, right? So what does the Next.js does, the first request, it serves the first request and it catches the request, right? And after that, whenever, n number of times any user comes into that, request that page, it actually serves your cached version of your Sitecore page. Now, let's say you change something in your Sitecore content and you published, but still, since Next.js actually cached that earlier version, you won't see the updated version of your Sitecore content. So that's where what we can do is whenever you trigger a publish operation, you can utilize this experience hedge webhook and capture all the data from Sitecore. Let's say whatever the items, I'll be explaining all of that. Whatever the item and whatever the item content changes, you can capture that item and you pass it to your webhook. And then in that webhook, you can write you can actually revalidate the cache of your Next.js page by using on-demand ISR, so that the Next.js cache will get revalidated and your updated page will be served from the Next.js. So that's one of the use case where we can utilize experience edge webhooks, as well as if you wanted to indexing, right? Like if you want to after publish, like you want to index your Sitecore content, maybe Solar, maybe Covio. So you can trigger a experience edge webhook, and then that webhook can take care of indexing your rebuilding or indexing your content. So these are like couple of use cases that we can use the experience edge webhooks, right? Now, how do you work with webhooks, experience edge webhooks, right? So like there are two modes Sitecore offers. One is like when to trigger on end and on update. So on end is like it executes at the end of the publishing job. Like once you publish the content and once the job is done, then that's where it triggers the webhook. But to be honest, it's not that much useful. It's only in case the publishing is done. That's all. With it doesn't give you any context. It doesn't give you what items has been what at what time what instance the event occurred, and it doesn't give you any context of Sitecore. So so now I won't spend much time on end. Then the main important one is on update webhook. So the update webhook, like sorry, the update execution mode, is the most useful one. So it includes like when you actually configure your webhook with on update mode, it gives you all the Sitecore context data. So let me show you what example sample payload for on update execution mode. So this is kind of a sample payload, like where your webhook receives when with the experience edge when you configure with on update execution mode. So it gives you invocation ID and updates, like what and all the updates done. So it gives you, it will have each identifier, which is nothing but your Sitecore item ID, entity definition, is this item or is it this template or is it layout data, something like that. So it gives you what type of item in Sitecore and what is the operation it did. It's update or delete. Then there are two operations that we can get, either update or delete. So with this payload, what it says is this item has been updated. So you can now, the webhook has the control, has the control of this item ID. You can capture this item ID in your webhook, and then you can do whatever you want in the webhook. So it also gives you layout data, item template, and it also gives you delete, like if there is any item got deleted, that on it will give you that operation as delete, and you can just utilize that. So like this, you will see n number of entries. Like if you do like bulk publishing, you will see a lot of these entries. So this is how the sample payload on update looks like. Then what else? Yeah, okay. The continuous. So there is this called continuous, right? This continuous indicates that Edge is prepared to send additional requests, right? It sends the data in the as a batch. As soon as it receives like around 200 response, it receives the 200 response from the experience Edge webhook, it will again trigger one more request, because it might have like a lot of data. So it actually processes as a batch process. So anytime you publish an item with a layout, that's like a page, it will correspond to the layout data, right? And that layout data as an entity definition, it shows as layout data in the entity definition. So this is the sample payload. Right. So we talked, what is the webhook and how it is useful and what is the use case and all, right? Now, how do you actually work with the, these webhooks? So it has no interface or admin portal, like, nothing actually. So all the configuration has done via HTTP request. So let's say, if you want to create, experience Edge webhook, first what we need to do is uh, create credentials in the XM Cloud deploy environment settings. So we need to, I mean, I'll show you this in my, Sitecore XM Cloud instance, but before that, I'll talk all this. So first we need to create credentials of the XM Cloud deploy environment, and then use those credentials to fetch the, OAuth token via, the Sitecore Cloud auth endpoint. Then we need use that token. So, the token we need it for any operation for doing experience edge webhooks. So if you want to create webhook, use that token to create webhook via the admin API. The same goes with, yeah, this is the how do you create the credentials in the XM Cloud deploy environment, and, creating so get auth token. So this is the auth URL. You do a post call with this body, audience, grant type, client ID, and client secret or nothing but the credentials that you got from the XM Cloud deploy app. Then once you get the access, you can create the webhook. So this is the API URL, and it's a post request. And where I mean, this needs authorization, the bearer token, and the bearer token is nothing but the token that you received from the previous auth token endpoint. So this is the bearer token that we need to include, and this is a sample payload for the creating the experience edge webhook. You need to label, and URI. This is the URI, like webhook URI, exactly, like where your webhook has been hosted, maybe Vercel endpoint or Netlify endpoint. So that's the URI, and then label, method, any headers if you want to pass, and body created by, and execution mode. This could be on end or on update. So this is how you create a webhook. And then update webhook, same, you have that API URL, pass the ID, and method's going to be put, and pass that authorization token as a bearer token, and then update your webhook. The same goes with delete. So same. And then how do you view details? So they same thing, XM Cloud provides couple of endpoints. One is for list all webhooks, and then get a webhook by ID. So these are the few requests, and where you can just utilize them to manage all the webhooks. But this is kind of a pain point, right? Like every time you want to create a webhook, or you want to update the webhook, you utilize the any something kind of Postman, any tool, and you do all this stuff. So this is kind of a pain point. So that's where I came up with a tool that we call XM Cloud Webhook Management Tool. It does remove all the manual steps that what we discussed. So you can just do all these operations with a single click, and that's a PowerShell module I have developed. Okay, let me just show you that in the action. I think. Yeah. So I was telling, right? So the all the manual operations, right? So how do you to get the tokens? So you go to XM Cloud Deploy app. This is the first step in creating the webhooks. Go to your Deploy app, credentials, environment, Then you click on create credentials, Edge administration. So you put a label, description, and project, like which project you want to create, which project you are targeting to create webhooks, and the environment. It's specific environment. Pick the environment and then create, and that gives us client ID and client secret. So what we do then, once we get the client ID and client secret, we need to get this access token. So this is the endpoint. Do a post call, your audience, grant type, client ID, and client secret. These are the client ID and client secret that we got from the XM Cloud Deploy app. And once you trigger this request, it gives you access token. So then we have to utilize that access token to do any operation. So let's say I want to create a new webhook, right? So do a post and then trigger this API with all your body, like label, URL, method, body, and all. And then, it creates this. The same goes with updates. And then if you want to do get webhook details by ID, so this is all the manual operation. So instead of doing all this stuff, like, every time, this token gets expires after some time and all this manual stuff, right? So this is kind of pain point. So now I will talk about the webhook manager, like that I actually developed. That's a PowerShell module. So that is available in my GitHub repo with the README instructions. So what we need to do is there is a package. Once install this package in your XM Cloud instance, and once that package gets installed, you will see a few items like system, modules, PowerShell. And this is the same concept that Gaurav has explained. So I have utilized that same concept to develop this tool. So you come to script library, SPE, Edge, right? Edge, content editor, ribbon, developer, Edge. So there is this one, create webhook, list webhooks. You will get these two items, and then there will be also like couple of buttons, delete, update. So once you install that package, you will get all this stuff. And then after you install this package, then you will see there will be one more item called system settings, Edge API settings. There will be this settings item, and in that settings item, there will be like four, audience, grant type, client ID, and client secret. So there will be four fields. Audience and grant type will be already there, and client ID and client secret, we need to enter those values. Get those values from your XM Cloud deploy environment, and just add those values over here. And once you add those values in that settings item, what we need to do is we just need to, okay, 1 second. I think I'll show you that how do you need to sync the library. So as soon as that, once we install that PowerShell module and provide the client ID and client secret, come to the PowerShell console, not the PowerShell console, sorry, PowerShell IS, PowerShell ISC, and settings, rebuild all, sync library with content editor ribbon. So once you're like install the package, and once you're done with this, then you will be able to see those ribbon buttons in the ribbon, like enable developer tab. In the developer tab, you will see create webhook, list webhooks. So let's say you want to create a webhook, right? So click on this one. It gives you, provide a URL, maybe like https:// mysitedemo.com/demo, label demo webhook SUGHYD. Post, like it gives you post or get post. Headers, like if there is any header value you want to pass, you can just pass it as key value pair, one per line. Let's say header test. You see execution mode on update, on end. So let's say I'll pick up on update and provide JSON data here if execution mode is on update. And if there is any if you have any additional data also you want to pass to your webhook, you can just include over here in JSON format. I'll just say test demo. And body, if your execution mode is on end, but since I choose on update, so I'll click on OK. But it says done. When you see the scripts, webhook ID created, you got everything, all the information. So your webhook ID is created. So now we'll see, if you want to see what are the webhooks for this environment, you click on list webhooks, and then you will see list of the webhooks that this environment has, right? So this is the one just I created. This is the ID, demo webhook, URL, method, headers, and created by mine, and created it when we created, and the body include execution mode, and whether it's disabled or when it actually last ran. So you will be able to see all of these information when you click on list webhooks. And then if you want to update this webhook, right, you select this one, you will see two options. One is delete or update. Let's say if I want to update, I click on this, like I'll say enter label, right, update, and click OK. Uh, webhook. So you'll see the confirmation message, webhook update successfully. Click OK, and let's see list webhooks again. You see the label got updated for my webhook. And then if you want to delete, like you can just come here, click delete. Selected webhook deleted successfully. Click OK. So this is how, like, in a single button clicks, we can manage all of these webhooks with all the operations, and you can see when it actually executed last run, and if it failed, all this data. So if it's disabled, and if you want to, and like update, all the operations can be done in the in this ribbon button itself, like with create webhook, list webhooks, update, and delete. Yeah, I think that's all. Any questions?
That was really interesting, both the sessions, I think, and yeah, because these are in Explain exam we used to have a lot of work to do, but I think this is pretty easier and also interesting. So we'll have to look out for these like how to make use of this in the projects. And any questions, guys?
Hi. So, what was the major difference we have between SXA and XM Cloud here?
Um, SXA, I mean, this is like ribbon buttons, right? I mean, it's nothing to do with SXA here, right?
I mean, is it a similar for SXA and XM Cloud?
Uh,
It would be for XP, not SXA. We're
yeah,
talking about the environment, like the either it is Sitecore XM Cloud product or XP product.
right, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Jagdish. Thanks, Emily.
So this repo is like, available. You can just, I think maybe put it, I mean, I put it somewhere in the marketplace, or like, I think it's in my LinkedIn as well. So you can just explore and utilize when needed. Yeah.
Any questions like regarding webhooks or regarding the PowerShell scripts or maybe regarding the how to create the ribbon buttons and other things? Because for people who worked in XP, it is really difficult to easier to understand now because we used to do a lot of 3 to 4 day work regarding these creating core items in core database and other things. And I think really this is interesting as well and insightful as well. So any questions? Otherwise, we are good to drop off for today. Okay, take that as a no. And thank you, Jagadish, and thank you, Gaurav. That was really great session. And thank you for presenting at SUGHYD.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Thank you
you.
Amini.
very much for
Thank you.
having us. Thank you.